we have not just jumped in and written some Mātauranga Māori items that we think are right. We've actually gone and checked and got people who know to sort this out. So that should give any teacher who uses our content the confidence that they are doing something that's been checked and it is tika, it is correct. So let me carry on. My name's Annie and I am the maths advisor for New Zealand. Advisor's a good word, isn't it? My official title is Solutions Consultant. I've been teaching in New Zealand for 20 years, and what I love about this role is that we save teacher time. And this that I'm presenting to you, this new NCEA that we've developed, I think will save a lot of teacher time. So I'm presenting to you the maths. Let me show you my little lesson plan. I'm going to go through the layout, look at some lessons, show you where the Mātauranga Māori is intertwined, quick talk about assessments, and then a little bit onto what teachers are loving so far. So straight to it, here is the maths folder and the centre panel here showing the blue folders with EP content. This is laid out alphabetically, and so the first one we come to is NCEA Level 1, and you see this is the old style, all focused on the assessments, 1.1, 1.2, so on. Here's the new one. We've labelled them with new so that it's easier to find. And you'll see that this layout is on the strands, and that's what we've done. We've done what, in consultation with the ministry, as all of you have done, so we've focused on the learning, not on the assessments. And just as I said before, it's alphabetical. So I'm going to show you a few things, starting with algebra. The origins of algebra, these are 2 new lessons. So we've put new next to every brand new lesson. Most of the lessons have been refreshed, re-looked at, made sure that they fit in with what is needed for the new NCEA and the new way that the phases are being rolled out. And but the new ones that are completely new have these stars in the word next to it. So early algebra is one of them. And you can see we start out as we mean to continue. At the top here, we've got the time estimates, 39 minutes. That may change depending on how the students go through things. And I encourage you to start using this with students as soon as you want to. And we start with kia ora koutou katoa. Nice introduction. Those banners I'll talk about later. The next information slide are the learning objectives: recall, identify, understand. So we have focused on the solo as well when we're doing these learning objectives. And this is another new feature, the glossary. And here we have the technical jargon as well as the Māori translation for it. And you'll see tapatori triangle. This is going to be used in the lesson, so that's why it's put in there. I love the way it's used in the lesson. Here's an example. Using algebra to recognise patterns. 1 tapatoru is 3 matchsticks, 2 tapatoru is 5 matchsticks. So this is normalising te reo and using it naturally within the lesson. It's not just thrown in there so that you have to use an English Māori dictionary to have a look it up. It is listed at the start of the lesson and then used within the lesson so that it's easy for the students to use it. It's easy for the teachers to see what's going on. We also have our normal questions where the students get the immediate feedback on the questions, and in the purple, and the long answer questions where the students can compare their answer to a model answer and the teachers can see their long answers as well. And we have a summary slide. So this revisits the learning objectives. As we all learned at Teachers College, that's the way we should structure our lessons, and it works really nicely for the students to see if they can recall key ancient civilizations, identify, understand. But also, where possible, we've put in a summary of the lesson. So in this case, we've got the pivotal point in the development of algebra from early algebra. And we've put in Māori words where we can. So it's not just the language that we've used, but we are putting it where we can. Let's jump back to measurement is the next one, I think. And if you see along the top, you can just jump straight back to level 1 maths. Here's measurement. And in our perimeter and area, here you'll see, so these lessons aren't new. They are beautiful and redone, but they're not brand new, like new content. Here is a brand new one, estimating area. And in the estimating area, you'll immediately see it's New Zealand based. The visualization shows you that we're looking at land areas, and it's roughly divided into iwi areas. We have the learning objectives and the glossary. This time it's a short glossary. We only have 2 words we're introducing. But then we jump into the sections. So we can look at understanding area. What is it? Got some beautiful pictures, lots of things for students to look at. And I quite like the estimating area. So in this, you can see examples, and that was some of the feedback we got from teachers, was they would like to see some worked examples that students can go by. So start of this worked example are some things to remember, and now we've given a task. So what's the area of the front of the wharenui? In the solution part 1, so we're identifying that there are 2 shapes. And then the next part is, well, how many steps does it take to walk across in front of the wharenui? And how long is your stride? And then part 3, doing the calculations and then adding them together to get what we need. So there's another example there and another example. And then this is great for students to have a look and see how you'd lay things out, because that is sometimes an issue. It's quite a lot of times, especially in algebra, we like things to be laid out nicely. And then we have a summary. And this summary has a couple of summary areas. The summary slide would be great notes for students, and revisit the learning objectives. Okay, the other way we can go back to where we want to, when we're going to go on to number, oh no, I want to go into applications, supplementary resource. So these are, you will recognise the names probably. These are some assessment type items that we've used in the past, and we've kept them in because, partly because they're familiar, but mostly because they really still fit the strands. So if you want to have an assessment on this strand, the applications area is a great spot to go to. I'll just go on the back arrow up to number. And in number, one of the things I really want to point out is that we have rounding. And this is an entire folder on rounding. It's not just pushed off to the side or tacked on to lots of different areas. It's a full area on rounding and ways to do rounding. You might not recognize leading digit approximation. It's very akin to rounding with significant figures, but it's introduced in a way that I think students will understand much more, and I wish I had this when I was teaching to be able to use it. So in the leading digit approximation, beautiful big graphic, 62 is rounded to 60. 0.97 is rounded to 1. It is absolutely a great folder. Love this folder. And we pop back to probability. Very simplified. Probability concepts and probability experiments. So if you are looking ahead to level 2 and level 3 as they currently are in assessment, these are the 2 areas. This is the way it's divided up later on. So this is a great step forward. I love it. I love the probability experiments, and you can see PPDAC cycle is present in these lessons. Plus you have the opportunity to do assessments or use them as investigations, which we really love the investigations. Next is space, so the old geometry. And if we have a look in here, you'll see we've got circle geometry. So these are not necessarily going to be assessed, but we did get feedback from teachers that they'd like to keep it in as part of a larger learning program. So we still have quite a few items in there in the circle geometry for you to use. And as a stats teacher, this is my favourite part, the stats area. You can actually see the old standards there in bivariate, multivariate, but we've added the full time series area and the general stats, the key concepts. Look at this. What is PPDAC? Keep going down. What are measures of centre and spread? Just a moment. And down the bottom here, writing statistical reports. Oh, do we need a lesson on that? The students need the layout. They need to know how to do it, how to make it look, what to focus on. And this is a great start, writing statistical reports. And in our bivariate, just want to have a look at the features of scattergraph, because this is my favourite part of including Mātauranga Māori into maths. This is where Te Ao Māori is included. So this lesson has the introduction, the learning objectives, glossary, and a review, because we feel that the students might need a little reminder of how to read a scattergraph and how they're laid out. Where would your family fit on the graph? And then we get to the relationship area. So we are looking at scattergraphs as relationship graphs, and this really intertwines with Te Ao Māori in the kaitiakitanga, the whanaungatanga, and it's explained here for the students and for the teachers if you want to have a look. And a little note, while Mātauranga Māori knowledge didn't use charts or numbers, the underlying principles are the same. So this is the beautiful section for interweaving. And you will find that in little areas around there. That concludes the quick tour of everything. Now, I'll just jump into up here. Those sample lessons folder might not be there for too much longer, but they are all in the new NCEA further down. But this teacher guide we've put into the feature section so that you can have a look at the assessments. So while we haven't written any bespoke assessments yet, what we have done is tagged every lesson from EP, and if you click on these, it'll open up the lesson for you, to which standard it supports. And as you can see, a lot of lessons support more than one standard. And that is every lesson that we have there. So this is actually a really good planning document as well, divided up into the strands and then the sub areas. You can download the document, or you can open up the web page that's got a little bit more information about it, including the document again here. So there's more than one way to get to it. And this is a web page. So if you don't have Education Perfect or don't have an account, you can still look at all of this information by going to educationperfect.com. And the banners and what teachers are loving. If we go back to the new NCEA, here is the description about our banners. I love this description. It's really beautiful. Teachers do love this. And teachers do, the feedback I've got so far is that teachers do love that the Mātauranga Māori is interwoven already for them, and that there are so many spots that they can see to localise to wherever they are. Like the estimating area, you can go to your school's whare and have a look at that particular whare to do the estimating area.